Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mirrored Dungeon solo video. In today's episode, we'll be using the brilliant tactician, Base Outis. Being the base identity means she automatically starts with quite a few problems, although she is far from being the worst identity in the game. Her biggest issue is easily her absolutely awful defense stats. She shares the worst defense stats in the game with Base Sinclair, being 153 max HP at level 45 and -4 defense level. Unlike Sinclair though, she is actually capable of working around this by the simple nature of her having access to an evade. Her clash power is not the greatest, with the exception of her skill 3, which is really good, rolling a 21. Quite an impressive feat for a base identity. Aside from that though, I guess she has pretty decent damage. It's not impressive by any stretch of the imagination, but she does have enough modifiers going on that she's not completely miserable to play with. The last thing worth mentioning is that she does have some rupture, but it's nowhere near enough for her to actually be usable in a rupture team. Perhaps Up High 5 will fix that whenever it comes out, but until then she's basically only useful for her skill 3's clash power, and that's about it. We take both Barbed Snare and Fluorescent Lamp for our starting gifts, and choose the Outcast for the first floor. For the final encounter of this floor, we are up against the Golden Apple. This is literally one of the easiest enemies in the entire game. The worst identity could beat this thing blindfolded, and with only a single skill slot, that's how easy it is. Anyway, I'm done talking about this thing.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 좋은 전략입니다.
We take Ebony Brooch as our reward after miraculously beating a floor without a boss encounter, and receive Late Bloomer's Tattoo as a bonus. For the next floor, we choose the Unconfronting, where we buy Painkillers, Bloody Gadget, and a bunch of other generically useful ego gifts. We also find Phantom Pain and Lithograph before making it to the first boss of the run against Chrom. Like always, forcing Corrosion on the third turn is the only way to beat this fight. We do get a little unlucky with the Corrosion only giving us a single skill, but all that really means is Chrom decides to give us a temporary truce for a turn before we are able to knock her into her second phase.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 조금만 더. 어디에 도전하는가?
최선을 다하겠습니다.
어디에 도전하는가?
응원하는 게 도움이 되긴 하려나?
명령대로 하겠습니다. 순조로운 전략입니다.
적중에 정신 못 차리는 녀석.
처리해볼까요?
명령대로 하겠습니다.
Her second phase is generally easier than her first, and for the most part that still holds true. Unfortunately, I do get unlucky when she decides to attack with her Maw and draw pretty much exclusively skill 1s. As I mentioned before, Outis' only good clashing skill is her skill 3, so we are unable to beat any attack without ego. I could have chosen to simply use all of my ego here and be done with it, but I decided I didn't want to do that and attempted to evade the attacks instead. This worked for the most part, until Chromer's final coin broke through and managed to stagger me. Painkillers comes in clutch, proving yet again why it's one of the best ego gifts in the game, at which point Chromer's skill check pops up, which we easily pass with flying colors and can finish the fight shortly after.
순조로운 전략이.
조심하셔야 해요. 정신이나 몸을 다치지 않아도 어떻게 바뀔지 모르니까.
훌륭한 작전 덕분에 승리했을
적들을
뿐이니
이기고 있어.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 좋은 전략입니다.
We take Thunder Branch for our reward and head into Dregs of the Manor for the next floor. Here we find Talisman's bundle before making it to the boss against the Dead Rabbit's boss. This fight, oh boy, this fight. Normally this fight is already one of the hardest in the game, but this time it's even worse. Thanks to our natural frailty, if we get hit even a single time, it's game over. The only way we can actually beat this fight is to dodge every single attack, and as I'm sure you're all well aware, whenever your entire strategy revolves around rolling heads hundreds of times in a row, that nasty little 5% will always rear its ugly head. It is nearly impossible to get through this encounter without missing at least one evade. And if that wasn't enough, the stupid Dead Rabbit henchmen have a certain skill, their MV1, that automatically reduces your sanity by 3 points whenever they use it. Now that doesn't sound like much, but let me tell you from experience, the difference between 5% and 8% is astronomical. Half the time when they use this attack, I immediately miss the next coin roll, I swear. It got so bad, in fact, that I've genuinely developed a new philosophy for using evades, where I will always use a minimum of 2 from now on, just so I have a backup for when I inevitably miss a coin roll on the first. Eventually, though, RNG decides to favor me and allows me to make it past the first couple of turns before coming into yet another minor problem. The boss's skill Upheaval, which is his Gloom one, has the potential of beating our evade if it rolls more than 2 heads. The only skill we have that can beat it in a clash is our skill 3, but eventually there is a turn where he uses 2 of these skills and we have none of our own. Of course, coming so far, I don't want to throw away this attempt and choose to simply use Ego to beat it and manage to win afterwards despite RNG trying so desperately to screw me over.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 여행에는 목적이 있었지. 지금 이 몸 직접 손봐야겠네.
당신의 건강을 다른 신에게도 보여줘야겠어요. 분명 교육 좀 많을 거예요. 조금씩 나아가고 있네요.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 순조로운 전략입니다. 명령대로 하겠습니다.
승객이 딱 콩 한 방 먹였어.
좋은 전략입니다.
방금 공격. 다음에 다른 개체에게도 다시 해봐줄래?
We take Crown of Roses for our reward, and learning absolutely nothing from the previous fight, head into the Unchanging for the next floor. Here we buy Broken Revolver and Death Seeker while also finding Ragged Umbrella and Special Contract. We also fuse Smoking Gunpowder before heading to the boss against Farmwatch. Entering into this fight, Outis is immediately blinded by envy, but that doesn't dampen her performance any. This fight, much like the previous one, is entirely dependent on not missing a single evade. The only difference this time is that instead of it being because of instant death due to raw damage, it is because of Dongring's unique status effect, Seeds. If at any point an identity has at least 5 seeds, they enter a special stagger state that, unless you have other allies present, will force an instant loss. On the first turn, Dongring inflicts over 20 of these, meaning it is literally impossible for any identity to solo this fight, no matter how strong they are, unless they have an evade.
네.
명령대로 하겠습니다.
Anyway, this fight was also significantly easier than the last, both because I got significantly luckier with the evades, and we actually have decent rupture damage now, thanks to all the ego gifts we've been collecting.
너희도
명령대로 하겠습니다.
방금 공격. 다음에 다른 개체에게도 다시 해봐줄래? 영상으로 남기면 다른 직원에게도 도움이 될지도 몰라.
부상 없이 나오는 게 최고야. 알지?
명령대로 하겠습니다.
유효타 좋아. 계속 집중하지. 최선을 다해보지.
명령대로 하겠습니다.
부상 없이 나오는 게 최고야.
명령대로 하겠습니다.
칼날이 잘 드네요. 아마 그 공격이 약점이었겠죠?
명령대로 하겠습니다. 쓸데없는 관심 필요 없다.
승객이 딱콩 한 번 먹였어.
좋은 전략입니다.
For our reward, we take Disc Fragment and head into Murder on the Warp Express for the final floor. Here we buy Emerald Elytra, Imposed Weight, and Standard Duty Battery before heading into the final boss against Cassetti. As soon as we start this fight, the RNG gods smile upon me as I immediately miss the first evade I use. My luck continues to shine through as on the second turn I yet again miss both my skill tree and my evade, resulting in a stagger. Aren't single coin evade identities just the best? I sure do love them very much. Anyway, after that absolutely horrendous start, the rest of the fight is pretty simple. Being able to clash instead of evade is so much more reliable, letting us make it to Cassetti without any more trouble. The vampire himself doesn't stand much of a chance. With our rupture damage, we could easily get through his massive health bar no problem, and on top of that, his whole healing gimmick doesn't work against us because we have an evade. After all, he can't heal if he can't hit us.
순조로운 전략입니다.
조금씩 나아가고 있네요.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 순조로운 전략입니다.
타겟 무력화 확인.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 좋은 전략입니다. 좋은 전략입니다.
늑대가 배고파했어.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 순조로운 전략입니다.
늑대가 배고파했어.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 좋은 전략입니다.
조금씩 나아가고 있네요.
명령대로 하겠습니다.
하루 기다리는 것 같아.
명령대로 하겠습니다.
뭘 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어. 방금 분석 다음에 다른 개체 얘기도 다시 해봐줄래? 칼날이 작은 연구에 아마 그 공격이 약점을 뿜어질 생각이 딱히 한번 먹였어.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 관리자님의 99% 명령과 1%의 제 실력이 합쳐진 결과였습니다.
And that's how I soloed Mirror Dungeon 4 hard using only Outis. Generally an extremely underwhelming identity, but I guess that's what you get when you're using base IDs. The only really good thing she has going for her is access to an evade and a decently good clashing skill 3. Anyway, that's it from me. Like and subscribe to not miss next time where we'll be using this identity. Goodbye.